All right, we're in Orvieto in Umbria in Italy. It's a fantastic little medieval town. We're headed toward the main piazza. As you can see, the cobblestone, the tall walls. We're up several hundred feet above the Orvieto Scala, which is the town below in the valley. It's an amazing place. We've met amazing people and had some amazing food. As you can see, this is a very active road. We caught up yesterday, accidentally went on a wrong road, and I have to fill out some paperwork so I don't get a big fine. Google Maps will take you most places, legal or not, so we're working on getting that cleared up now. Città di Orvieto.
Piazza della Repubblica.
Say louder.
This is Piazza della Repubblica, and we are heading towards Piazza del Duomo with the very famous church and symbol of Orvieto. As you can see, it's 8:35 a.m. and it's quite busy. It's a small little town.
Campeggi, muovite!
You see all these wonderful shops. Great shopkeepers. People are very, very nice. Many of them speak English, or at least some English. They're very friendly, but they're also very forgiving about your bad Italian. And they will help you get through it. I got the pleasure of ordering my dinner last night in my broken Italian, and the lady was wonderful, and the dinner came out correctly, exactly how I ordered it, and it was quite impressive, and I'm very proud of myself. So,
what's great about these little towns is that it's a community. Everybody knows each other. Everybody helps each other out. Last night we noticed all these little children walking about by themselves. No adult around to chaperone them. They're free and happy to walk around and go into the stores and buy themselves gelato or sit at a little coffee shop and have themselves a slice of pizza. So that's what's really, really interesting about Italian culture, is that children are left to be independent at an early age. And living in these small towns, lets them be free, lets them be happy, and be responsible already at an early age.
if you've never been in a medieval Italian town like this, describing what you see is easy on video, but to describe what the smells and the sounds is a little more difficult. You'll walk through areas and you can smell the fresh pastries and the coffee and cigarette smoke. And it's a very unique experience, especially for an American, to come to a place like this that has this much history. And it's just so unique. It can get very emotional, and I'm going to show you a view here in a minute that just, quite frankly, overwhelmed me the first time I saw it and brought me to tears. Y'all might not think the same way, but I thought it was a very stunning view. It's a very peaceful view. It's a lovely, lovely town.
So the stores open up at 9 a.m. and you'll see the difference when we'll walk back here, how it's going to be bustling with people doing their morning shopping. One great thing about Italian culture is that you usually shop for dinner on the day that you're making dinner. So everything's fresh. Everything you cook is fresh. Large supermarkets are available, but they're mostly used for primary goods like paper, paper,
white goods.
White goods and maybe, larger items that you might need, like detergents and things like that. My experience of living in Italy for many years was that after work, I would stop at the local shop and pick up whatever was available and just cook on the spur of the moment, whatever I got. And it's usually fresh, and it's usually delicious. So we're coming up into the Piazza del Duomo with this beautiful, amazing church.
The first thing I noticed about most of these medieval Italian towns that we've gone to in the past and that we're going to go to on this trip, they're all very, very clean. The piazzas are very clean. There's trash cans located everywhere. As you can see, trash service regularly taking care of things. It is very impressive. You go to certain towns in the United States, San Francisco or Memphis, places like that, and they're just downright filthy, and the cities should be ashamed of themselves for doing that. They're major tourist centers as well. They should want to attract tourists and make them come to a town that's clean, have them come to a town that's clean, but they choose not to for some reason. All of these little towns in Italy we've noticed are very, very clean. So we'll get the best shot of the front of this Duomo as we can. It's going to be hard to see the detail, I'm sure, from video. I strongly encourage you to put Italy on your bucket list. This is my second time here, and of course my wonderful wife is an Italian citizen, dual American citizen, and she lived here for 20 years in different parts of the country. This is our fact-finding mission on where we're going to eventually land to live, and you guys are going to get to be a part of that. But this is the stuff that you get to do. This is what Italians do. They come out, they sit on this piazza in the evening, they chat, they talk, people go by, they're very nice, they're polite, they start talking. It's such a simple, easy life. And I think Americans just miss out on it so bad with our rush to make money and to go. When you get a piece of this, it's actually a piece of nirvana. You get to feel that sense of total peace. There, you know, this absence of desire, that you have this complete peace that's over you. I can't really describe it. It's something you need to experience for yourself.
You all have heard about slow food. Italy is not just about slow food, it's also about slow living. They capture every moment. They really, really live in the moment, which is what is important to do. They'll worry about tomorrow. Today is today. What can we do to make ourselves happy today? This is how they live. And it's true of almost all of Italy. Of course, if you live in the big cities like Milan, Rome, Naples, Bologna, you know, you get the sense that you are in a big city and you are, you know, on the go all the time. But living in smaller towns like this, you get to appreciate life every day. And I don't know if Italians know how lucky they are, but I can tell you that when they travel outside of Italy, they do recognize it. I certainly do. Having lived in the United States for many years, I miss this every day.
So this is really common in Italy as well. Most of Europe, as a matter of fact, you get the pay toilets. So there's really, they're public toilets, but they're not free. And this one is a half of a euro. So you give the lady a 50-cent euro coin, and you can use the very clean public restroom. And again, that's really common. All of the medieval towns we were at during our last trip here last year, they were very clean, and you just have to keep in mind to carry around, you know, half a euro coins or 1 euro coins. Most of the country prefers to take a card, a tap-to-go card. All right, we're coming up on this amazing view. There's an abbey that's across the way. This thing is stunning. We saw it last night and absolutely fell in love with this view. And I picked out a couple of the houses that I think I could live in, jokingly. I'll put you on video. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
All right. I try not to film people out of respect for them. So if you see my hand go across, that's what that is. It's just a respect thing. I don't want to get waivers and releases and all that stuff. So this is the view. And I mean, if you look at this, again, if you're here, it's different. And we came with some friends of ours, and I was telling my friend last night, I said, you know what's different about this? That you can see this and you can see it on video, but what you can't capture is the stillness, the emotion, the cleanliness of the air. And you can hear my voice cracking a little bit because it's just so emotional. It's beyond, and the words really can't describe it, but I'm going to give you a nice pan view of this view, and it is just stunning. And Umbria, the entire countryside of Umbria is very, very similar to this. We're in southern Umbria here in Orvieto. We're going to be a little further north today.
To the left is Bagnoregio Civita, and to the right is Furano. These are just locales in the area. They call them località. They're little fractions. They fraction off the city. They're part of the city, but they're not, as you can see. But we'll be quiet so you can hear the birds chirping and just the stillness of it all.
All right, say goodbye. Until next time. All right, we came back to the main drag, and now we're going to go up this alleyway, this Via dei Magoni.
Mago in Italian means wizard, and as you can see, they have the Mago di Oz workshop. They have other things. It's themed, I guess. We'll go check it out.
We did not come down this street or up this street yesterday, so this is just as new for me as it is for you guys that haven't been here before anyway. So porchetta, for those of you that don't know, is a suckling pig that they've deboned, and they fill it with these herbs and sometimes nuts and things like that. They roll it up and they roast it, and then they slice it and they put it on this wonderful bread that usually has a soft inside and a crunchy crust, and it's fabulous. A lot of the Italians will get a porchetta sandwich in the afternoon. It's a very inexpensive snack. You know, runs between 5 and 10 euros depending on how fancy it is. Okay, she's telling me I went past the street we got to turn on.
No.
Via Perdota.
Perdota.
Perdota. So you see these signs that say stop, you don't go that way. Right? So
It's divieto d'accesso, meaning you're not allowed to come in because it's a one-way probably going out. Here's the remodeling.
Remodel. I'm a very curious person. I look at
prints and things like that.
I want to look at everything, see it all, even look up. You got to look up. You never know what you're going to see that's up.
There's a park over there. Look at the paintings of this building. Typical Etruscan trattoria around the corner, around here to your right. I like to see what that is all about.
Interesting mural.
There's another church.
So the other thing I fell in love with personally here is the doors in these medieval towns they're stunning. They're all different shapes and sizes. They all have different door knockers and pulls on them. They're fabulous. I know it's weird, but they're fabulous. And you come here, you may see the appeal that I get from it. They're all quite different. So this is a typical trattoria, and these things are all over as well. Sorry, you're getting the wall right now. I'm trying not to film people. These were torch holders, you think? Yeah, they're torch, so they used to light the street.
They have medieval festivals here. They have all sorts of rituals, religious rituals that they have. Italy is very spiritual, but they also live in the past a lot, so they do preserve their you know, rituals they preserved there from the medieval times. There's a map of Orvieto. I want to go back and see the fortress.
Okay. There are these maps all over downtown. You can, or where the medieval town is. So, and then the hotels have them as well. You get the paper map. You can kind of get an idea where you're going. It's not very big. You can walk the whole town in an hour or less.
We're here.
Via del Marciano.
We're heading back towards Costo Cavour, which will take us to a fortress. We'll go check that out. Typical symbol of central Italy. Italy in general are these big, tall cypress trees.
Mailbox.
Absolutely love.
So you can get gated entrances too.
Yeah, especially if you have a courtyard, you know. So we'll go back down. We were here just before.
Buongiorno. So this is a wine and olive oil shop, Vinioli. This region grows some of the best olive oil that I've ever eaten. We had some at the restaurant last night that was locally grown, and it was just divine. A half-liter bottle was about 15 euros, so it's not even that expensive. All right. Okay, we're back on the main drag. I can't edit all the people out. When we edit, we may be able to blur some faces. Because as you can see, it's picking up a little bit. This is a pretty popular tourist destination. It's about an hour and a half from Rome by car.
About an hour and a half from Perugia.
Yeah. And this is pretty typical. They'll put the menus on the street. If they're not in English, what I found is that it's a locals restaurant and the Italians will eat here. And the food, because Italians, they won't stand for subpar anything. It has to be excellent all the time. So you find that when you get these little restaurants that it's all in Italian, they're catering to the local population, and the food is above and beyond. Sometimes you'll get into some of these restaurants and they're just tourist traps, and a lot of times they're run by foreigners who don't really understand the nature of it. This place here, I probably would not eat here simply because they have hamburgers, and I didn't fly 4,000 miles to eat a hamburger. So I'm sure the food is good, but I'm not going to eat it.
But you would definitely eat
But
there.
here, yeah, if we're looking at places like this, absolutely, this place. So we have Vini, which is wine, Porchetta, which is the pig I was telling you about.
Salumi is anything that's like prosciutto, salame.
Formaggi
Formaggi is cheeses.
is a cheese. Ensalada is a salad. The zuppe is soup. And a hot dog. I don't know why. And it's on this side, it says they have coffee, pasta, pizza, panini, which is sandwiches, focaccia, bruschetta, and crostini. I'm sure it is absolutely fabulous. We just had a big breakfast at the hotel, so
well, I can't even think about.
We're walking that off now. Hey, on a side note, I have type 2 diabetes, and I've struggled, to keep it under control, and I've done really well. When I come to Italy, though, it's amazing that my blood sugar numbers are just perfect. So to give you an example of what I ate yesterday, I had pasta for lunch with wine. And then I had a porchetta sandwich as a snack, and then I had a small bowl of ice cream. Mm-hmm. And then for dinner, I had a half of a pizza and a half a liter of red wine. Got up this morning, tested my blood sugar, and it was a whopping 117 fasting, which if any of y'all have type 2 diabetes, that's a really good number. Especially considering all the carbs I inhaled. So this place was closed yesterday.
Yeah. This is a tribute to the pork.
So Cinghiali is a wild boar.
Yeah.
They're really common here in Umbria. It's an invasive species. They hunt and harvest them like crazy. A lot of times you'll go to a restaurant and you'll find Cinghiali au ragu.
My husband's best friend.
That's right, absolutely. The Cinghiali is if you like to eat pork, Cinghiali is the best you can have. It's the best of the best. There's no getting around it. This place has sliced wild boar and sausage.
Wild boar with polenta.
Polenta. It's amazing. We may come back here and have lunch.
We probably will.
So, and I will film that for you guys. I'll get it on some stills. That's not the clock tower. That's another door. But there's the clock tower. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. Thing goes off every half hour. There's a pharmacia, which is a pharmacy, and they're very friendly, the pharmacists here, and they'll help you with stuff. If you're not feeling well, they can almost diagnose a little bit and get you the right medication to make you help and feel better. All right, I'm gonna pause this.
Percy would be walking by himself.
Yeah. There's a lot of shops.
One thing's for sure, you don't go hungry or thirsty in Italy.
All of the meals are surprisingly affordable. My friend Dan and I went out last night because the girls were tired, and we went and had some pizzas. He got a pizza. I got a pizza. We got a liter of red wine and a bottle of water, and all that's charged plus the table service. It was all about 40 euros. You don't pay. You don't tip here traditionally like we do in the States, where 20-25%. we had really good service. So I left a euro coin on the table for the lady that served us. But aside from that, the servers are paid a living wage, and you pay, if you have table service, you pay a service fee, and I think it was 2.5 euros a piece for that particular restaurant. So, they get we paid 5 euros so they can pay the wait staff a living wage. It's so much easier here and throughout Europe and the EU in particular. You see a price listed, that's exactly what you pay. I got a magnet yesterday. It was 3.5 euros. I paid exactly 3.5 euros. Don't have to figure out tax or anything else. It's all built in. Makes things so much easier. I really wish that we would switch to that in America.
Most little towns in Italy like this will have theater, will have museums. There's so much culture, and Italian people do enjoy that. They'll go to galleries, and if there's a new exhibit at a museum, they'll go see it. Theater is very big here as well. They enjoy it.
Via Giuelfa. This looks residential, so I'm not going to walk up it, but big brass doorknobs, great big door. This is a typical little shop.
Yeah, get fresh
fruit and vegetable shop.
And this is all local.
Yeah, and it's exceptional. Yeah, more of these wooden doors. There's a barber shop. So typically everything you can find in the States. Hey, I might get a straight razor shave on here. Those are great. Same things you can find in the States, you can find here for the most part. And again, you
get enough porchetta.
Right, so it's porchetta everywhere. The prosciutto is hanging. You can get it by the slice.
Norcineria in Umbria is a typical butcher shop with aged meats, and it's really it's a typical Umbria establishment. I mean, you'll find Norcineria everywhere, and they'll serve food, as you can see. The place we went last night was called Norcineria, where you had the porchetta. So it's really rustic food, basically. Norcia is actually a little small town here in Umbria, and I guess that's where it came from, the name.
So you can see what I was saying earlier. So there's a porchetta sandwich, a panino con porchetta, 6 euros.
And it's huge.
And it's going to be massive. It's a huge sandwich. I was shocked last time I was here, and we were in Rome, and I saw all these kids going to the McDonald's in Rome, and it blew my mind. And I thought, you're going to go spend 10 or 12 euros at a McDonald's when you could have a fresh porchetta sandwich or a fresh panino with salumi or formaggi for 5 or 6 euros, and even if you got a soda or something, you're looking at 7 euros. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot healthier. And quite frankly, in my opinion, it's a lot better. I'm not a fan of fast food at all in any way, shape, or form. I personally haven't eaten fast food in 25 years or more. I worked in an industry that serviced fast food restaurants, and it broke me real quick. So if you think about who makes that food for you, they're teenagers, and you think about the hygiene habits of most teenagers, it's not pleasant. And then not to mention that the quote-unquote food that they're serving you is usually ultra-processed with fillers, and it's just downright unhealthy. And that's one of the reasons that Americans are really obese compared to the rest of the world. I'm going to walk up here real quick and see what's going on. Oh, look at this. Little court. It is private homes, but I think they're stunning. And again, it's coming from, I live in Florida. My wife and I, we live in Florida. Florida's beautiful. You know, we have beaches, we have whatnot. Most people love coming to Florida. They want to be there, but I've been there for over 22 years now, and I'm done with it. So this may wear off in 20 years or so on me as well, but we'll see. I doubt it. It's a much more peaceful life.
So we're still heading down towards the fortress.
Lots of these little shops with the local artwork too. So remember what I was saying, you can get anything here that you can get in the States.
There's sushi.
I have not eaten the sushi in Italy because, again, I didn't fly 4,200 miles to eat sushi. On this trip, we are planning on going to the west coast of Italy and having some seafood, and I will film that because fresh seafood is divine. There's no getting around it, and they literally pull it out of the ocean and they cook it up, and it's all in one day. It's the same day. They've harvested it, and you're eating it. So it doesn't get much fresher than that unless you're on the boat yourself, cooking it on the boat. And believe me, if I can find a trip that'll do that, we're going to do it. So, the mailboxes, etc. There you go. There's a little bit of the United States here in Orvieto. Now, for those of you that have freaky diets, there you go. I don't mean it in a cruel way. Gluten-free. For those of you that suffer from Crohn's, you can get that here too. Or celiacs or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't know. I can eat anything. I'm like a tank, so nothing bothers me. I'm blessed that way. And food is definitely the top 3 loves of my life. So
as you can see, every other store is a food store.
Yeah, there's plenty. You will not starve here. I think this is probably a traditional tourist type restaurant here. I would not eat there. The best restaurants you'll find have handwritten menus, or they're on the chalkboard like that, but this is a bread shop, and it'll change every day. We walked by one earlier, I'll point it out in the edit, that just had 2 items on it, but there's a bread shop. Over here.
Better idea.
Yeah, I think so. There's another little shop there. So as I was talking about earlier, there's the Zona Traffico Limitato, and that's what I ended up getting into, apparently accidentally.
Yeah, well, we'll get on that.
So you have to have a special permit to be able to drive through those areas. And I think they're time limited and all that. There's gelaterias all over as well. And they're fantastic. The gelato or ice cream here is artisanal. It's handmade. It's not ultra processed. It's just beyond. Buongiorno. You typically get 3 flavors per serving. So, for example, last night I had 3 different flavors in a small cup. It was €2.50. Very affordable. The euro is a little bit above the dollar, so figure about $2.75 or so. Right now, it's a little different. When we were here last year, it was almost equal, so it was a little easier to do the math. There's another little cafe. This one might be more tourist oriented as well, and they put pictures on it, even though it's in Italian. But the wine is very good. Yeah, it does have that touristy feel. Like I said before, we try to find the restaurants that have a handwritten menu on the outside, or it's done on a chalkboard, and it's their special of the day, because that means that the chef went to the market, he got the food and produce that he's going to prepare that day, and it's usually 1 or 2 items that you get a choice of, and then they'll have the sides as well that they normally make, the risotto and the salads and things like that. They'll already have that, so you have 1 or 2 entrees that they're going to focus on, and they're exceptional. There's no other word for it. It's beyond anything you can get in the States. There's restaurants that'll do that in the States, don't get me wrong, but it's just not the same. You're here, this atmosphere is different. Like I said, the air is cleaner. It's a lot more laid back. The energy is more peaceful. Even though it seems a little chaotic with all the cars and whatnot, it's just because it's a small town with little narrow streets. It really isn't that big of a deal. And this is coming from somebody who lives in a town of 250,000 people. Whoa, that sidewalk closed.
We're going towards the fortress here, as you can see. This is a lovely little neighborhood.
So the bar, they have a bar here, but in Italy, the bars are not like what you think of as a bar. It's a coffee shop.
But they also serve alcohol.
So sometimes they will, around 5 o'clock or so, you can get your aperitif, and you can see there they have the liquor bottle up on the top that they do, and they have beer and wine as well. But it's not a typical bar like you would think of, where you're going to sit and have a drink and have some potato chips or whatever. That's where a lot of people go to get their cup of coffee. They sit, they chat. It's like a Starbucks, only better and cheaper. Funicolare.
So funicolare is that little train that goes from the top of the hill all the way down.
Oh, it's a tram.
It's the one that's on the wires that comes.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now we're coming up to the fortress, and we gotta come here. We can't cross here.
Okay.
We gotta cross over there.
Look at that view. That's insane. I'm gonna get you guys on that in a minute. Go up here. There's a lot of hills, but that actually helps with processing out what you eat, all the food that you eat. Last year when I was here, we were here for 12 days last year, I think, and in Umbria and Tuscany. And you guys will get to know me over the course of this transition as we move from the United States to Italy, and you'll see I really love food, and I love to eat, and I'm not a big guy. I'm a little bit overweight like most Americans, but I really love food. And I lost 8 pounds on our last trip, despite the fact of eating a boatload of food every day, almost shamefully. Oh, look, what is that, a goat?
It's a griffin.
It's a griffin, it is. Look at that. Yeah, awesome.
It's a griffin with a goat head.
Yeah,
Maybe it is a
maybe it
goat.
is. I don't know. Oh, look at this view.
So this is the other side of the view we showed you before. There's that avenue
There's the,
there.
so that's how high up we are. You can see the wall, the road below, the Orvieto Scalo, which is in the valley. Oh, this is gorgeous.
We're on top of the fortress here.
Oh my God. All right, sorry about that. I get a little overwhelmed because this is just, it's very emotional for me. I'm not sure why, but it is. Again, it's so peaceful. Not having this kind of peace and this view gives you, I'm sure it's an overload of dopamine and serotonin, and maybe even oxytocin that just overwhelms me, and I get emotional about this. But I get emotional about a lot of things, and again, you guys will see that if I find a food that's really amazing, I will cry like a baby while I'm eating it. And I did last night a couple times because some of the stuff we had was beyond this is beautiful. We're only in Orvieto for today, and we're heading up here in a little bit to Panacarola, which is a little more north in Umbria, and that's going to be our home base. Most of the trip here, we're here on this trip for a total of 17 days, and we rented a car this time, so we're able to go and do whatever we want. Have about 20 of these medieval towns that we want to go look at and see which one we kind of want to land on when we move here, hopefully next year.